to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya, he has just been told by Ra's al Ghul that he has a mission to attend to. He has 3 targets. Ra's al Ghul is only expecting him to be able to take down 2 of them. The detective, and possibly the new Batman. However, he does at least understand if this might be a bit of trouble, especially since that boy does not have his rings. Although with his test, they should go to him, and he should call for them. Along with that, you do have Deathstroke, who basically told Midoriya that he has no soul. Now, with that, let us begin. We do have Midoriya running through and jumping through quite a lot of buildings, as he is somewhere in a city. Let's say New York. Running along the rooftops and going through them. He is going to find Shazam. Now, I don't remember exactly what city Shazam lives in, so at least bear with me. I actually don't know much about him, other than his powers and skill sets. So, with that being said, he is running through, and he's at least looking on the file. The boy goes to this hero high school, or at least this school. It's not very hard to tell or even see why he's in it. It's very high class and high tech, meaning that being Shazam does have its perks. He basically has a full scholarship and ride, even though he is a pro hero already. Now, along with that, he would eventually come to the house that Shazam lives in, with his foster family. The boy is going to be taken care of very quickly. He knows it, as he would just make his way up on the rooftop, beginning to sneak around. As he does, slide open a window and look to see the kid sleeping on his bed. As he does at least make sure that this is his target, before getting ready. For a second though, he does hesitate, unsure as to why. Whenever he does hesitate, it's because he has the knife directly overhead. And he at least does remember Shazam saying something. He can't really tell what it is, as he at least gets taken somewhere else. He's in a strange place, unsure as to where he is, looking over to see Earth, confused. That's not really being what he's focused on. As whenever he does look over to his left, he does see a fraction of his memory, watching as something gets sent flying outwards up into the air, and Superman has a sucker punch Darkseid. So Shazam basically just coming in and smashing directly into his back, sending him flying downwards into the ground. And the two getting ready to face off against him more. As something would come flying in, a giant red construct. Midoriya hearing a truck horn, before they snapping back to reality. Now, by this time Shazam, or Billy Batson, has at least started to wake up. Although he's a bit too late, because as soon as he realizes what's going on, instead of it being one of his other siblings trying to wake him up because of a nightmare, he would have been too late. Midoriya dropping the knife downwards and into his throat, killing him. As he would just go to say, "Shut," as Midoriya would just grab him by his face and force his mouth closed. Billy Batson unsure as to what's going on and who this is, before his eyes would just adjust and see the figure's face, wrapped up and actually covered. As those eyes. He's seen those eyes before, but he can't place them. Where has he seen them? Who do they belong to? As Billy Batson would bleed out, eventually giving up on Midoriya's struggle. Midoriya just taking a picture as proof before leaving. After he does do that, he does at least get transportation set up. Whenever he was told, or at least talked to, by the League, they would have asked him one simple thing. As you do have Talia al Ghul, who currently was actually watching this all happen. Her being on the boat and asking Midoriya if he got his mission accomplished, or did his target simply not be in position. Her making up more and more excuses, trying to think that this young boy possibly cannot be any better than Deathstroke says. Midoriya just holding up something, a white cloth with a red stain on it, along with just handing over a phone, before walking over and sitting down, closing his eyes. Talia al Ghul, confused, looking through the phone to see the body. This somewhat impressing her. The boy murdered a hero in cold blood. Not just that. From what she can tell, the boy did struggle. So, he did at least try and act fast. Then again, it cannot be blamed. Now, Midoriya is just taking out one of the Justice League's heavy hitters, as they begin to make their way over to Gotham City. This taking roughly 1-2 hours. Now, with that going on with Midoriya, let's cut over somewhere else. We're not going to be picking up with Jiro. In fact, let's pick up with a Dark Force. Midoriya's Ultraviolet Lantern Ring. Now, with that, it is just separated from Midoriya, and it feels free. As it does feel Midoriya's thoughts, the chaos and the storm raging inside of his mind. As it would have slaughtered its way through everyone, got the ring, and then leave. It staying on Earth for a minute. At least trying to get used to the planets. And keeping an eye on things. As this thing would begin to search, wandering, not too sure as to what it's looking for. It thought it found it, but then it disappeared. What was it? As they would just look back down at the ring, thinking that why did they only grab this object? Why indeed? Looking through it, and seeing carnage, nothing but it. Watching as they do at least hear both sides of the story. Midoriya screaming and begging Umbrex to stop, as Umbrex would continue on his rampage. The Dark Force just watching this, and observing it. Eventually, day breaking, and it finding somewhere to hide. As he would just watch these over and over and over again, the carnage and everything Midoriya's been through. Until it does at least cut to time later. Directly after the, giant boom, as they call it, the boy changed. In fact, he took on another rank. The Dark Force, at least using their power and creating it. Creating a 3D model of this ring, along with the boy with it. And they just continue to think. Ring. Me. Power. As they do at least wonder. The power the boy showed off is the exact same one that they have. I have. The person taking on a bit more of their own conscience. As they would finally catch up to an audio file. Something that Midoriya has left. Whenever he did still make them on this ring. Audio file 00.1. Alpha Beta build. This is going to be, my first entry. And I'm not too sure as to what to even say. As the ring would fly upwards into the air and at least project the room around them. This being just looking around and seeing Midoriya, currently just sitting on his bed, with the ring in hand. As they just go on saying that, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Hi. I'm not really too sure what to say. First off, to anyone who has found this log, that means I am most likely dead. Or deceased. And I can't really blame you for probably thinking that I'm an asshole. Anyways. I'm not too sure what to even say or begin with. I'm assuming I betrayed you. And if I didn't, then that's another story. Just talk to Batman about it, he probably knows. Then again, Superman probably knows too. Go to the big three of the Justice League. They can fill you in. Now, with that being said, Midoriya would just give a detailed explanation as to what he's been through in the last month, along with saying that they do plan on bugging the watchtower and destroying it. But there's a problem. Darkseid, he's not really a very trusting person. So, along with that, even if we do give him the Earth, we will just be slaves to him. So, me and Jiro. As Midoriya would just say her name. The Dark Force, at least feeling calmed by it. And thinking about that. Jiro. 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 It at least being something to calm them down. As one thing would happen. There would be a knock on the door in the background. And Midoriya would just say, oh, sorry about that. So, anyways, save this draft. As the audio file would just end. And the dark energy would just think. Jiro. Izuku Midoriya. The name feeling familiar. The Force knows this. It's felt it. So what is it? As they would just begin to take on their own shape and create a construct. This construct is a physical body, along with the way Izuku Midoriya looked that day. As they would just continue on listening to some things. along with eventually the recording of the final battle, Izuku Midoriya's death, along with him being buried. The ring maintaining silence for hours upon hours on end, before there's a sound. And there's Deathstroke, pulling Midoriya out as he just begins to talk about what he plans on doing, saying that the kid should have had a second chance, and that he's sorry for what happened with him. He's going to give him a second life, and if he can, he's going to make sure Ra's al Ghul can't track him down. So, let's go. The figure just watching as the bag would zip up, things going quiet and dark for minutes. The conversation with Ra's al Ghul, and then eventually Midoriya being put in the Lazarus pits. The rings at least being there to witness this birth. Watching as Midoriya would just violently murder everyone once again. And they do at least change their appearance more to fit Midoriya's current physique, and the way his body was whenever he first came back. Trying to act things out. This voice believes itself to be Izuku Midoriya. But what happened to the real one? The other? What happened to me? As they do take off into the air and think, Jiro, Jiro. Being a bit more primitive with it. Going out and following on some of their own instincts. Something that Midoriya has left imprinted on the ring. Them going out and trying to be a vigilante. Fighting for good. This unknown force scaring and accidentally putting down a few people by accident. Not knowing exactly the ring's power or extent of it. Now, with that being said, let us cut over to Jiro. She is currently talking over on the watchtower with Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and the Flash, along with the new Batman, saying that this is not good. You know that, right? Yes, I'm quite aware. The situation as it is not good, Diana. Well, I would say that you're right, but it's not just that. Ever since that incident, Hal Jordan fell, Izuku Midoriya fell, Batman fell, and then Kyle Rayner. We're losing too many heroes at such a fast rate. Jiro just saying that they are. In fact, it feels like something has it out for them. So, right now the best course of events would be to just try and focus on it. The Guardians did enforce, or not enforce, but at least make a last request. We kill Parallax. Wonder Woman just telling her to hold on there. Hal Jordan is not a threat. As of yet, Diana. However, I do believe if he does come back to Earth, he will come back in dire circumstances. And try to kill everyone. Someone will be held responsible for Coast City's destruction. If not us, then Cyborg Superman. And Mongol. Her ring being a course with a bunch of rage, as her facial expression does not change. Diana just looking down at this and then looking back at her, asking her if she should just step out of this. She does have a personal reason for trying to encounter him. Jiro just saying that she is perfectly under control. In fact, she is not angry. Diana just looking back at her hand, still coursing with red power. As Mary would just say that if they need to take down Cyborg Superman, then why not just try, well? As you would just someone just look around the room, saying, why don't you just try putting him against, well, Parallax? Everyone not saying a single word, and thinking. As Dick Grayson would just say, that actually sounds plausible. Right? Well, you gotta think though, he holds that guy, or Mongol, or whoever that is, responsible. So, put those two against each other, and I believe things at least might work out for us. Hopefully. But then again, there is a problem. As he would just go on saying that if one of those two murders each other, then they might take on the positions of the other one. Kinda confused. Mirror just saying that, think about it like this though. Mongol, you guys said that he was fear. If he wins against Hal Jordan, or Parallax now, I guess, then he will take on his power. The entire Green Lantern power battery. Basically becoming willpower itself, right? Or a totem of it. As everyone would just at least think. He is making a very good point. And if Hal Jordan murders Mongol, oh dear. This basically backing them into a corner. The better idea is also the worst one, depending on the outcome. Now, let us cut to roughly 17 to 22 hours later. Back over in Wayne Manor. Alfred, he is at least getting Master Grayson's tea ready. Along with that, he is at least starting on dinner. He does mourn Bruce, but he is also a little bit optimistic. That boy has survived crazier things, along with being hit by Darkseid's Omega beams. So, if a nuclear bomb goes off, then he'll be back home right in time for breakfast. At least trying to stay on that mindset. As Midoriya sneaks into the manor. Now, as soon as he does sneak in, this is when he starts to make his way through it. Looking through multiple rooms. Not really encountering anyone. Until he does come to another one. Opening the door and hearing what's going on inside. Jason Todd basically arguing with someone. As eventually he would just hang up the phone. And go to put it down. As he begins to try and take apart his guns. As soon as he does take a piece off of one, Midoriya would try and act swiftly. Throwing out a knife. It heading straight for his skull before he would basically just move forwards. And immediately just pull out his other gun. And fire it at the doorway. Midoriya just ducking into and heading straight to his right. Running down the hall. As down in the Batcave, you have Damien and Dick Grayson training a bit. Now, they are trying to learn some new moves from each other. Damien is trying to learn on harnessing his rage, while Dick is trying to learn some more forms of combats. The kid was trained by the League of Assassins, and right now, knowing more things would help him. With that being said, Back up in the hallway, Jason Todd has just begun a fire. Midoriya basically just bring up this cloak and hiding himself with it. Jason Todd shooting into it as the bullets would just fall against him. Midoriya just bringing it downwards and throwing out his own hand. The guy expecting a knife, but being surprised. Midoriya blasting away a firearm. As Alfred, he would grab a shotgun from inside the kitchen. As he would just begin to load it, and try to make his way upwards toward the manor. Then, up to the second floor of the manor. Trying to actually take care of business. Now, whenever he does get up there, he does see bullets flying and ricocheting off of multiple things. Telling Jason that this won't do. Coming up the stairs and throwing at his arm. As he just pulls the trigger and blasts a slug directly towards Midoriya. Midoriya jumping out of the way. As he would just reload the shotgun, saying that now he's going to have to clean all this up, and dinner will be delayed. As he just begin to fire and try and kill Midoriya. There might be Bruce Wayne's rule against not killing, but Alfred, he doesn't put himself to such standards. Neither does Jason Todd. Because if it goes against his moral compass, just know this. His moral compass is a fucking roulette wheel. Anyways. Now. With that, whenever they are firing at him, Midoriya would just take a chance to get closer. As he just throws something into the hallway. Throwing in a candle. As the manor would begin to start catching on fire. And Midoriya would just try and run around, trying to lead them on a bit of a wild goose chase. As he does at least lead his footsteps in one room, traces them backwards, and then hides in another one. As they would begin to try and follow him. His shoes are heating up and actually melting. So, exactly what is he doing? As they begin to try and make their way throughout the entire manor, trying to track him down, getting in gunfights along the way. Eventually Midoriya taking off their shoes entirely. He still does use them, but he at least does one thing. He leads a trail straight down to the Batcave. As this trail runs cold directly after you go down. So, it will be interesting. As he just makes his way to the kitchen without his shoes. And turn the burners all on, waiting for the room to fill with gas. Now, on his little trips throughout the manor, he's been turning on the fireplaces, meaning that a single spark would be deadly in the situation. In fact, with all the electricity going on, that fire is going to be the least of their problems. Now, eventually Midoriya would just begin to start walking away. Whenever he does notice the manor, he would just watch it, as the fire that engulfs it quickly turns into an explosion. And it would be immediately reported on. Now, along with that, he would just head back down to the Gotham Shore docks. Talia al Ghul wanting proof of his death. Midoriya just doing one simple thing, pointing in that direction. And it's showing off Wayne Manor, obliterated. Her looking back at him and just saying that she wanted to know that there was a body. At least then they can burn it. However, assuming that he is dead, you have done the League proud. As they would all leave. Now, let us cut back over to Wayne Manor. Moments before the explosion. Alfred and Jason Todd, they are trying to figure out exactly where this kid went. Jason may say that his outfit looked familiar, and that he's at least very good with what he does. So the kid is definitely a legal assassin, deceitful, and a bit of a runner, not trying to go into direct combat. He doesn't have the numbers advantage or fair fights, especially with both of us. As you just take a whiff of the air for a second and think. Everywhere the kid's been, they've passed by a room. As he would just ask exactly how many fireplaces are on the second story. And where are they? Alfred is opening his mouth. As soon as he goes to say something, he would realize what he's talking about, grabbing the boy and immediately throwing him into the Batcave. As he would seal off the wall and try and force it closed. Jason Todd going to try and run back up the stairs as the explosion goes off, and he falls back down them. This being whenever Dick Grayson would just walk up and ask him what's going on. The explosion unsettled the Batcave, so they need to get out of here. The three taking the Batmobile and other forms of transportation, leaving, and trying to inform Diana and the Justice League as to what happened. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that will be a good point to leave that off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night.